Alright, so we're about to do a circle check on an ambulance, but in this case it's actually going to be on a neuro, so not everything's going to be exactly like the ambulance, but I'm doing it from home, so this is going to be great. Also, no one was here to film me, so I'm filming it myself. It's going to be all first person. Alright, so off to part one, which is going to be the outside of the vehicle. Our first step here is to check the windshields. We're going to make sure there's no damage to them, and they're all clean. Same thing with our wiper blades. We're going to look and make sure there's no extra bits hanging off of them, and everything's good there. We're going to move on over to here, where we can see the cert date on the driver window. Everything should be good over there. Now we're going to move on over to the windows, making sure that they are clean. Sorry, the mirrors. Make sure they're clean and no damage has fallen upon these windows. Everything looks all good. We're going to look over the glass, make sure the vision is clear, there's no damage on the glass or the windows. We're also going to make sure all the doors open and close and securely. After this, we're going to look at the license plate to make sure that there are valid stickers on them. Then we're going to take a look down into the suspension area. We're going to make sure, look over that up in this way, see if we can find any broken springs at all. If the shocks are faulty, if the vehicle's sagging whatsoever, we can check that from the back, see if the vehicle's leaning any specific way. Doesn't seem to be. Look in the back as well. Then next we're going to move on to the wheels. So looking at the rims, gonna make sure there's no damage going on to the rims. Gonna look at the tires going on as well, that the pressure's all good. If we had a pressure tool, just throw it right over here. We'd also look at the depth, which we would check here. You can use a penny, or we can also use a tread depth tool up in here. And next, we're gonna look for any wears along the sidewall, any weather cracking, any kind of bubbly blisters looking along it. And we're gonna also make sure that the lug nuts, specifically on the trucks for the ambulance, that all the tabs are following the circular motion, which means that they've been torqued properly. Also, we're gonna check quickly under the vehicle for any exhaust leaks. We're gonna be looking for some smells. The body of the truck should also be looking good. The bumpers should be intact. Should be no sagging. And the steps and the running boards should be working as well. In this case, we don't have any on this car. And the fuel over here, the gas can should click, and everything should be working well. Okay, now we are on to the engine compartment. You're going to have to pop the hood for this, prop it up. The first thing we're going to want to check is our fluids. So we're going to want to check our brake fluid, and we're going to want to check our oil. So oil right here, brake fluid back here for us. We're also going to want to check our coolant. In this case, in this car, there's two coolant reservoirs, and there's the rad cap. We're also going to want to check the coolant from the rad cap, but we're never going to want to open that when it's hot. We're also going to look at power steering. In this case, I believe on this car it's electric steering, so we won't see any here. And we're going to also want to make sure that the windshield washer fluid is topped up as well. In this case, not so much. We're checking under the car real quick for any leaks, or if we see any leaks over here. All the electricity system should work fine. The wire should be good. Everything should be intact in that case. We're gonna make sure all the coolant hoses are fine. There's no ripples, there's no wears and tears in the coolant hoses whatsoever. Some here, over here, some at the bottom of the car as well. And we're also gonna want to make sure that the battery is all good. In this case, cannot see the battery currently, but on the trucks the batteries are nice and visible, so we would be able to check that no problem. Okay, next, moving on, we're going to be doing the operator area, so we're going to pop up for this part of the recording. Okay, so we're up in the front. For this part, we're going to have the engine turned on, so in this case, slap this baby on. So we got the car running, lovely music. So we're going to listen for any unusual noises. We're going to adjust the seat with what we've got back here through the side. We'll adjust the mirrors as well, all so that they work. Now we're checking that the windshield wipers function properly and that the wind washer fluid works as well. The steering wheel should work nice and fine. We can check for exhaust leaks by pressing on the gas, and if it's extra loud, then we know you got an exhaust leak there. What else? We can check the brake action to make sure the brake is good and that the parking brake engages and disengages. We can also make sure that the horn works. In this case, the horn works. We'll also want to go to the radio system. In this case, it is a very different radio system that we got going on, but we'd want to make sure that the siren works as well. All the gauges are proper and they speak right. Then we will make sure that all the lights work. So we can come over here to this side where we would flip on the headlights. We throw the emergency lights onto, the turn signals all work, the headlights, the high beams, floodlights. We turn on the tail lights as well. We'd go to the back to check that. And brake lights and reverse lights, we'd probably have to have someone else checking on those for us as we are pressing the brakes and putting it in reverse. And we'll also, last but not least, want to make sure that the seat belts all engage and disengage nicely. We want to do that throughout the whole entire front. In the truck, it would be just two. So we make sure the driver side and the passenger side engage and disengage properly. And for the last part of this video, we're going to go into the patient compartment. For this case, we'll just jump into the back seat and say that we are in the patient compartment, even though there's no patient. What we're going to want to check for in here is the fire extinguishers. That both of them are here, the one in the front and the one in the back. We're going to want to make sure that there's flares here as well, because that's needed in emergency situations, and that the O2 is turned off and the O2 is secured as well. And we're going to want to see the axe and the pry bar in this back compartment as well. And that will be it for the patient compartment.